everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back to the Ida Hour. Sorry, I took a minute off. We've had some technical difficulties, but I'm back before Oscars Sunday to talk about, on Oscar Sunday, actually. I didn't realize it was the Oscars today. I tried to live stream that and got copyrighted immediately, but it was a fun live stream and a pre-chat, even though I was like troubleshooting throughout it. But if you're here from my last episode with Akash, we will be addressing the new Jasleen interview that has surfaced has just come to my attention. I've never seen it. I totally dropped off the Akash Jasleen story. But apparently she's back, not taking accountability again. So we will be talking about that. And the Iran war, of course, is the most looming topic because that is near and dear to my heart since I am Iranian. I'm Persian. Same thing. And I'm so against this Iran war. And I know you guys are like, oh, you are like a Trump supporter. And no, I'm not actually. I've addressed that. He turned out to be the worst president, maybe ever. So a lot of people got it wrong. I got it wrong. So I will address that as well. Yeah, just so many L's all over the place. Jasleen L, right? Iran war L. Literal L. So we'll be talking about all of it, and one of them will go on my Patreon. So I might watch the Oscars on my Patreon with you guys because there will be no copyright on that, and you guys can just chill with me and we can just watch TV. Literally, I would watch it in my own house and there's no copyright, so that's great. So I'll be doing that, I think, on the Patreon. So that's patreon.com/TheIdaHour. All right, so the Iran war. You guys, what is there even really to say? I talked about it on the live chat of the live stream in the last episode, but a lot of people are thinking that Bibi's dead, which if so would be the most incredible news story of all time. That would be, man, would that be nice to just be honest with you. If we finally caught a break for once, wouldn't that be nice if the world could just catch a break for once? Wouldn't it be nice? Apparently, I didn't know this. Live chat told me that there has been, because I was like, okay, they say he's dead. That was a rumor, whatever. Is because they said that about Mojtaba, the son of the supreme leader that was killed, that he was also injured or dead. And apparently he is injured, but we don't know really the extent of the injuries so far, or even that he necessarily is, or if that's confirmed. So that's to be seen. But there are rumors floating around that Bibi has died. And apparently they released an AI video of him where he has 6 fingers, and everyone's saying it's AI, or at least 2 or 3 people in my live chat were. So, and I'm going to watch that with you guys as well. St. Patty's Day in Boston. I'm about to leave Boston. So right before St. Patrick's Day. And the flights booked up quickly. I think people are trying to get out of here. They don't want to see the chaos. I saw on Boston's, being in New England is so crazy. As someone who's lived in Texas and LA my whole life, this is a whole different vibe, environment, the winters of brutality. I got through it. I survived. I just never left the house, obviously. I did a few times. I plowed. Oh my God, I plowed. No, I didn't plow. I shoveled snow. Oh, cool. There's a flood watch. That's excellent. So tomorrow's the 16th. And yeah, there was a tweet that I saw. I couldn't believe this because in Dallas there's a huge St. Patty's Day parade every year. And I actually want to see if that's still going on. Okay. Already happened. The St. Patrick's Day parade in Dallas happened on March 14th. It's on Lower Greenville. It's a big, huge deal, but it's not people don't die. Apparently in Boston, people get their throat slit, they get slashed. It's crazy because they said this is the Twitter account called Only in Boston, or X account. And it says, alert, due to the South Boston St. Patrick's Day parade, South Boston liquor stores must close at 4 p.m. Bars will stop admitting people at 6:30 p.m. Last call, at 7 p.m. Whoa. Everyone must be out by 7:30. On the biggest holiday for these people. They're all Irish, right? So this is the Irish Mecca. This is the city for Irish people. And they're shutting the shit down at like 7:30. I'm like, wait, why can't they celebrate their heritage or whatever? And like everyone's telling me, they're like, no. You don't understand. It's death and destruction out there on St. Patrick's Day. These people, they can't contain themselves. They can't obey public order. They can't commit to nonviolence. And on that day, at least, apparently it's hard for them on most days. So on St. Patrick's Day parade, it's like, it's crazy. So it's I mean, they're acting like Boston's about to look like Beirut. It's crazy. Everyone must be out by 7:30. I was blown away. This is insane. Is it all bars? Is it like this? Why can't they celebrate? Why can't they just behave? Anyway. Oh, behave. What is that from? So yeah, okay. I guess Trump is doing a US-Iran war now. He's live right now. All right, let's just watch what he's saying right now. Fuck it. We'll do it live.
The soil was no match. And we're also annihilating the manufacturing base that the regime uses to build drones and missiles at a rate that nobody thought was possible.
You're annihilating the spirit of this country.
We know where they all are.
Of America.
Very quickly.
Not the spirit of Iran. I have so many thoughts on it. I don't even know where to begin.
I would say that we probably would not have thought after a month we'd be here. In addition to the fact that we've taken out the leadership twice and maybe 3 times. And we, as you know, we want to be involved. We don't want another president that maybe wouldn't be willing to do what I'm willing to do for the good of the world, for the good of our nation. Be stuck with the situation in 5 years or 10 years from now.
Do you know what it is? I really thought, and I've said this before, but I'll say it again. It bears repeating. Because people are like, what was your argument for defending this person, for thinking that maybe, because I looked at the first presidency. I said, okay, we have a template of what his presidency would look like. I knew presidents ran on things that they couldn't actually bring to fruition. Okay, that's what every president does. That's what every politician does. They make promises they can't keep. They don't always get their feet held to the fire, right? But usually they pretend to be making strides in the direction that they told you they're going to, even when they don't, right? I mean, Obamacare obviously didn't work. That was a disaster. People lost their health care. Like it was a complete disaster, but he still did it. But he still pretended to do. I mean, he still did Obamacare, right? When you run on not doing something, it seems like an easier promise to keep because it's not like Obamacare. He's trying to create something that doesn't exist. That's extremely difficult to do in the current like bureaucratic and corporate system that we have here. But all he has to do, Trump, is just what he did the first time, which is just be an entertainer, don't do wars, neutralize conflicts, peace through strength, which is what he said he was going to do. And it's what he did the first term largely. Like there were very few. I mean, yes, the Qasem Soleimani, I should have looked at that and understood, but I didn't understand the significance of Qasem Soleimani. I'm an American. Yes, I'm Iranian. Yes, I lived in Iran for different years sporadically. I was born in the US, and then I went back and forth to Iran and America, between Iran and America until I was 6 or 7. And then I permanently moved back to Dallas. So it's, I was born here. I'm both. I'm really both, but I'm an American first and foremost, obviously. So I'm not really, and we've been against the Iranian regime my entire life. Like, my family is pretty secular. Like we're not religious, and not that there's any problem with that. Like my aunt married a Catholic man and she's Persian. And so, our like culture is very, very secular. And a lot of Persians are this way, especially the urban metropolitan, like Tehran, capital city or bigger cities, right? Tabriz, all these places, like there's not, there are religious people there for sure, but it's mostly, city people that are pretty liberal for the most part in the way that they are over there. It's not like this. Liberal doesn't look the same in Iran that it does in the US. I think people fail to see that. Like they're not doing pussy hats and rainbow flags and like doing dildos for bachelorettes. Like that's not what liberal means. They're still living at their parents' house until they get married, right? Then they move in with their boyfriends. Otherwise, I don't know, maybe sometimes they actually do that before. I don't really know. I don't know what's going on there because I'm here, but I do know what's going on there insofar as I can speak when I speak to my family members, which is usually often, and they have not responded to me. So I haven't heard back from them, and they live in Tehran. So ironically, the people in Tehran are the most liberal, the most elite, the most progressive, you could say, right? They want the Western government. They want the westernized government, maybe not the exact one that existed during the Shah's era, but they definitely wanted, a version. I love how we're going to watch this now. I'm just ranting. Whatever, I'm going off now. So fuck it. Let's just get it out of my system. They're the ones that are the most against the regime, right? The ones in Tehran, which is 17 million people. Let's not forget. I think it's 10 million for like the Tehran proper, and then the surrounding metro area, I think it's like 17 million. So it's about the size of New York City, bigger, like in terms of population. Size-wise, I think it's much bigger than New York City, if I'm not mistaken. But population-wise, it's a really densely populated urban area. And I remember as a kid being there. It's very similar to New York City in terms of like everyone kind of lives in apartments for the most part in the metro area. And then there's obviously houses on the outer skirts. And, but anyways, they're the ones who are against the regime, but they're the ones that are being bombed, right? So it's extremely, and also there's Iranians. This is the same thing that happened in the 80s. If you know what happened during the Iranian Revolution, then that was that was an op of a revolution. That was a Western, frontiered, like that was a Western spearheaded mission to get rid of the Shah at that point, because the Shah was not listening to his Western overlords anymore. He was disobeying them because he was getting shit from the people of his country, who realized that this is yes, it's westernized on the surface, and women can wear their hair down and they can like dress however they want and pretty much, act like a westernized country and have tourism, and people from all over the world want to come. This is the way Iran was pre-70s or pre-80s rather. So if you see Iran in the 70s, it's just like short, girls in short skirts doing whatever they want, right? That's basically looks like an American or a European city. And we love to reminisce on those times because it was so great. But if you were living in those times, I've been told by many people in my family and everywhere like that they were really mad at the Shah. He was silencing protesters and sending them to prison and killing them. That was his big mistake. That was his ultimate mistake, right? Because if you want to stand up to your Western overlords who are not going to allow you to nationalize the oil that is your country's biggest asset, it's the one thing that should be able to make you money, and they are completely, strangleholding you from being able to use your one natural resource to provide the economic relief that your country so desperately needs at the moment. And rather than allowing dissent to exist, he silenced all of the people that were against him or even critiqued him or tried to, right? And he used the police and all of that. So it was not this like dreamland. We love to reminisce on that because comparatively, obviously, women would much prefer to do that. But now there's been so many inroads made with the civilian population of Iran actually doing uprisings against their own government that now women in Tehran don't even have to wear that anymore. That's the craziest thing ever. When I was a kid, like you had to. And every year there's videos where women just progressively kind of pushed it back further. And now they're just wearing their hair down and the police are not enforcing the laws anymore with that. So there is progress being made. I'm not saying it's a perfect thing, but you have to let countries do these things for themselves. When you intervene for your own interests, which actually America has no interest, this is all for this other country that I don't even want to mention right now because I don't want like the YouTube algo to just like pop off at me. But we all know who this is for, right? Like we all know what greater project is like this is. This is not in the US's interest. In fact, it's completely in the opposite of our interest. We've already lost service members, young people that had their entire lives ahead of them, people with children. Like this is just a disgusting thing. And look at the bomb how many school kids, those little girls that died from a US strike? Back in the day, not that long ago, that would be one of the craziest scandals to ever hit the airwaves. That we bombed like 180 little girls or something like that number. I'm not sure exact number, but something like that. And their parents, after their parents tried to come in and save them, they did a double tap, which I used to think was like a sex term. It's just so fucked up because it feels like this was going to happen no matter what. yes, 100% Trump might have expedited this to leagues that we can't even really understand at the moment. And now we're in the fog of war, literally. So it's so hard to parse through everything. And it's so hard to get. I got a hold of one of my cousins and he's fine. My other uncle got out of Tehran, so he left to a family vacation house. But it's like a lot of these people don't have, like my family has a family vacation house in Tehran that they can all go to if something happens. Usually they, just go to the beach. That's what they do. And everyone kind of uses it and shares it. So one of them went over there, but there's a lot of shit. Like I have family there and I don't know what to do about that. I don't know if they're okay. There's nothing I can do. But yeah, the irony that the people that are the most against the regime are the ones that are being bombed. That's how you know they're not trying to help Iran. It's completely fake. It's completely fake and gay. It's completely made up. None of this is real, okay? All of this is because we are being controlled by a rogue nation that is the size of New Jersey, that in no way, shape, or form helps the United States in any way. If I could just get this mic, I mean, my goodness. It's like they're even stopping gravity from working for me. They don't want me to talk. Do they control that too? Anyway, just kidding. That was a joke, obviously. And I don't want to make any sort of I'm not going to do this thing where Jewish people are horrible. It's not, I'm not even going to go there. I'm not even going to go there on YouTube. You know what? I would like my channel to stay up. So anyway, Iran's being bombed to bits. It's bad. It's really bad. It breaks my heart. I try every day not to look at the news. It's very difficult not to, obviously, because it's like I actually am invested in it and I know people there and I lived there for a time. So it's my ancestry, that's what my background is. I'm so deeply connected to the culture. I speak Farsi, I grew up first gen. Okay. This is just now getting really, which you're messing with my flow here. Sure. Maybe it's the way I installed it, but it's a heavy microphone. I don't know if the stand is enough for the SM7B. You guys. All right. I think that's going to be great. So, like I was saying, oh my God, this is so good. It's the Abali yogurt drink. That's actually a Persian drink, so. It was so hard to source this. I had to order this online from a Persian grocery store online. It's a minty yogurty drink that's, I know it's going to sound weird. It's carbonated. This one's good. So they're usually not carbonated, but I like the carbonated ones. It's 3 or 4 ingredients. Milk, carbonated water, yogurt culture, salt, mint extract. Simple, but perfect. Made in Los Angeles. Oh, man. Okay. And we back. So, yeah, it's crazy this happened. I just thought because the whole campaign was so centered around America first policies on so many levels, or so I thought. I mean, I'm a buffoon, obviously, but the revolution of Iran has to come within the country itself. During the 2022 Masa Amini protests, you saw a pretty unified front, right? All the Persians that were doing the Woman Life Freedom March, that was a huge deal, right? That made a lot of progress, actually. It was kind of one of those things where it was like they almost clinched this victory, right? They almost started this revolution, but the issue was always that they did not have a leader, right? It's very difficult. Like in the 80s when they did the Muslim revolution, they had a leader. They had a charismatic leader that everybody loved, and he was spiritual, and that's how they got everybody to like, they didn't act like they were going to enforce Islam the way they did. They did the opposite of that. They just thought it was going to be some spiritual leader. Boom, now it's the Islamic Republic. Do you see how these things happen so quickly? And it's so easy to manipulate the public. And now with social media, you think it'd be harder, right? Because there's so much access to information, but it actually makes it easier. It's so easy to muddy up the waters and algorithmically feed people slop that basically makes them victims to your narrative. Whatever narrative you're spinning, they might just buy that up because they are living their lives, you know? And some are just retarded, but like they are living their lives. They have children, they have jobs, they have work. Like this is not their daily pursuit, is what's going on in the world of politics. And how do I get to the real info here? Now, hopefully this has bubbled up enough to the surface that everyone can kind of see what this is. But unfortunately, most of the Republican Party still supports this. The independent faction that turned for Trump, like, and voted for Trump this time around, which was me, thinking that this is literally for this not to happen, is why because I was told, like, Donald Trump Jr. is out here saying, oh yeah, we're not going to do wars. Like, we're trying to do really America first. Like, he really played to that crowd, right? Barron got him to go on all these podcasts. They got JD Vance to go on Tim Dillon, you know? And when JD went on Tim and told Tim that we're not interested in war with Iran, that was a huge moment to me. And it's so ironic that it was on a show with Tim. It's so crazy to me. But that is where I heard that the first time. And to me, even though it was a podcast, I was like, that right there, that statement, clip that. Like, right. And they did. It's been compiled, and it's been in so many different compilations, basically showing the complete deception that this administration has operated under during the election, especially, but even now, as they're committing these war crimes. It's unbelievable. JD Vance, this pussyfooting, teal cutout, just absolute dumbass. I'm sorry. And he's not dumb, but he is a snake, you know? And you know what? Clavicular is right. Gavin Newsom mogs him to death. Do I like Gavin Newsom personally? No. Is he a Chad? Yeah. So it's like, I guess give it to him. They're both going to be assholes. It's like, I guess give it to the good looking guy, you know? Just to stick it to the Republicans, if nothing else. I mean, Jesus. But I really do think California needs some conservative leadership. I mean, holy shit. Just clean up these streets, you know what I'm saying? Like, same with New York. And I like Zoran, though. See, this is what I'm saying. Like, I know I'm very politically ambiguous or difficult to figure out, but it's kind of simple. I look at it like, are you grassroots? Are you willing to stand up to, like, dark forces? And at this point, it's not really about the things you say, because now I see the way that goes, right? And in a way, I guess it's good that we got somebody as cartoonishly and stupidly sociopathic as Trump. Like, he can't talk his way out of anything. He can't make people think that actually he knows really what's going on. He's too stupid. His vocabulary consists of like 30 words. So he just lie. He doesn't care. He's like, okay, I'm just going to lie, and then I'm going to go do the opposite of that thing. And I'm not going to be held accountable for that, because I never am held accountable for anything. Wouldn't you feel like God at that point? I mean, he's literally escaped death. He probably thinks he's some sort of like Messiah at this point. Dude's got like Mike Johnson sending him like biblical love letters, right? Like, you're the second coming of like, what? And he's stupid. He doesn't know what's going on. He's also close to death, right? I mean, not actually, but he's older. So he's really thinking about his mortality. And these neocon military industrial complex shills have obviously gotten in his ear and told him like he does not have a choice but to comply with their mission. And they have convinced him probably that he's some evangelical savior, and he might be stupid enough to believe that. And he's experienced enough things at this point that he probably thinks that that's true. And he has no understanding of what's going on. Like none, clearly. Or they really have a gun to his head, which is also true. He said, Tucker Carlson said in the month leading up to the initial declaration of war, till on March 2nd, right, on my birthday, is when this started. So hilarious. It's just so horrible. Tucker Carlson said he went to the White House 3 times over the last month to talk to Trump to try to get him not to do this. And basically, at least in Tucker's retelling of this on his podcast, and I believe him when he says it, Trump in so many words was just like, I have no choice. My hands are tied. I have no choice. I wish I don't want to do it, but I have to. Kind of like he was saying, like, it's almost like it's decided for him. And we know that that's the case, right? Like, we haven't had a real president since JFK. Everybody's been some, and for all of Obama's faults, I will say at least he did the Iran deal, right? But then, of course, that gets thrown in the trash. I should have looked at that immediately as been like, okay, this guy's going to go to war with Trump. But then he had a whole first term where he didn't do that. So I just thought Kamala and Biden, they're like the butchers of Gaza, right? Like, how could Trump and Vance saying so adamantly that they are against war be any worse? And it has turned out to be colossally so, to the point where I don't know how we come back from this, really. This is a country of 90 million people that we're fucking with here. For what? Why? Why are we playing with fire this way? It's a disaster. I mean, gas prices are already up through the roof. Nobody is for this that it has any of their mental faculties in place. If you guys don't know what happened with Mossadegh in the 50s, Iran's democratically elected leader, and the overthrow of him in 1953 by the American CIA, please look that up. Iran had a great leader that was elected fairly to create economic results for his country. People are struggling. You elect a leader. The leader's like, okay, I'm going to be the guy for you guys. Oh, no, overthrown by the U.S. Oopsies. Yeah. Little guy named Alan Dulles. Anywho, but so you guys should all read The Devil's Chessboard by David Talbot if you haven't already. I'm sure you guys all have, but it's such a good, informative, and illuminating read. And yeah, just look into that one historical event, right? Everything that precipitates after that is downstream of that one horrible thing, that one intervention from the West that has now created this absolute nightmare. So, anyways,
So we think nuclear weapon, where they'll look at that man and some.
You're probably saying to yourself, Ida, if you have this opinion, why do I have a Persian friend that's like for this? Why do I know some Persians that are like definitely in favor? I'll tell you why. It's really simple. They've been manipulated and they're legitimately suffering and they have legitimate grievances with the current leadership of Iran. But they are misguided deeply. because they are allowing this to take place for Israel. Like, there is no other reason. They want a westernized Iran. They want Iranians to be free and have the ability to live their lives as they wish and not under any sort of theocratic rule. And that is a totally fair. That's what we all want. That's why I'm here, right? In 2022, during the Masa Amini protests, we were all united, right? You had these Iranian like protesters in the street, and then you had these Iranian advocates here in the West, right? Like Nazanin Boniadi, that woman that like D-level actress that dated Tom Cruise for like 5 minutes. She's out here like, turning into some activist. You have every Iranian Jew obviously pro this, right? Pro the protest, pro the regime change, trying to bring like Reza Pahlavi in, whatever. They just like Israel more than Iran. That's really what it is. They're Persian. They like definitely love the culture of being Persian and like being considered exotic or beautiful or whatever, but they don't, they don't care at all about the fate of the country or everyone that lives in it because they don't share the religion. And they cloak this support of a different country as, oh, we just want Iran to be free. It's like, well, why do you care about Iran? You left, your family supports this other country that's the size of New Jersey more than Iran, which is the language you speak, the food that you eat, the holidays like Nowruz, which is coming up, the Persian New Year, that you celebrate. So much of Persian culture you totally buy into and you love, but you just don't care what happens to the 90 million people that make up that ethnic culture. And that just seems to be the case a lot of the time. I have yet to see any of like my Persian Jewish friends who I love dearly, come out and say like, yeah, I don't think this is a good idea. And actually, like, I really love America. And I think America deserves to have its own interests met and cared for and spoken about and, taken action on, rather than just everything being a deflection to just war all the time, no end to it. What threat is Iran to the US? Zero. You've never had a terrorist attack on the US from an Iranian. Like, that's just not something you don't see that happening. In fact, when you see Iranians, most of them, just at least especially when you go to Tehran and like the bigger cities, the tourist areas, like they love, and if you go and you say, I'm living in America, they treat you like royalty, right? But a lot of them, especially the more religious ones, think that America is like trying to destroy Iran, and they wouldn't be crazy to say that, would they? So it's a messed up situation that we find ourselves in because there's a lot of differing ideas within Persians. But I will tell you that the Persian diaspora are some of the most politically uninformed people I've ever met in my life. And that is not, I don't say that to degrade them. I say that because they are rich and they have jobs and they are working and showing off their riches. That is a lot of what the culture is, okay? And I hate to say, and I love the Persian culture. There's so much incredible poetry. There's so many, there's so much depth to the artistry. Kiarostami is one of my favorite directors. Like, there's an incredible breadth of artistic and thoughtful and deep philosophical work done by Iranians. And we are like rich in culture and we have an ancient history and we took over the world and we ruled it and we freed the Jews, by the way. Some would say maybe we shouldn't have done that. But we did free them. And this is how they repay us. At least not, maybe not the Jews per se, but this is how, well, at least this is how Israel repays us. And I guess the distinction should be made. But it's, there's varying degrees of opinions within Iran, but I will tell you the political diaspora, the Persian diaspora, they're just very obsessed with, that's why there's all these stereotypes, black BMW, white Mercedes. It's a lot of it is showing off. And so they have to go get the money to do that. So they have to become doctors, they have to become lawyers, and they have to become engineers. And if you fail at those two things, you become a real estate agent or you take over your dad's car dealership that he ran as a side hustle. So those are kind of your like 5 options as a Persian, especially if you're a diaspora, right? Because in Iran, you have a mix of people, right? You have like service workers, you have people that are, working in the oil fields or whatever it is that they're doing. Everyone has there's maids, there's people that are like, if you speak Farsi, I know I have a few Persian listeners, but it's like, the badbakhta bichara ke hichi nadaran, like that's exists in Iran, but it doesn't exist in America. You know which Persians are in the US and in Britain for that matter, and in France for that matter, and in Dubai for that matter? The really, really rich, well-off ones. And those people are out of touch in like every country and culture and society. So I'm actually one of the non-rich Persians. Genuinely, like my family's not coming from, like, I mean, my family's fine, but we're not rich, okay? At all. And that's rare. And in LA, the only Persians that are there are rich. And in LA, you have your non-Jewish Persians, mostly like in Orange County or the Valley, or like, they're definitely in LA proper for sure. Like, but in Beverly Hills, you have the Persian Jews. So these are very culturally different groups. They're Persian, so they share culture in terms of like the food they eat, a lot of the music they love. They all lived in Iran at a time, or their parents did, right? So there's a lot of, and back in the day, they all got along. Like this was not really, and maybe there were some differences here and there, but they all lived under one country and there was a nation state and everybody bought into that concept, right? Obviously things started to shift when the West started to intervene into all the politics over there, right? But the point is that in every diaspora community, you're gonna get opinions that are not actually in the best interest of the vast majority of the people that live in the countries that those people fled. And when you flee a country, when you flee or leave or decide to become an expat, you don't get to constantly force your opinion on the population of people that still live there. Maybe they don't all want you advocating for them, because the urban people that live in the populations of that country, usually they have the internet and they can kind of advocate for themselves, and they are in a position to make a difference in their communities if they want to do it, right? If they want to overthrow the government, well then, hey, go ahead and do that. Revolutions happen internally, so make that happen. And we were this close, right? In 2022, there was no distinction made between the Persian Jewish community and just the Persian community, right? Whether they're secular or like most of the diaspora community is like not Persian Muslim. Like you're not seeing, because they wouldn't have left. Why would they leave to come here? Right. It's usually we're not obeying that. And maybe there's like some cultural like Muslim things, like a phrase you say or something, but nothing like we're not observing, right? We're not praying all the time, or we're not doing the things that a Muslim, like a real observant Muslim would do. We're not wearing the headdress. Like we completely rebelled against all of that. So why should they be listened to when it comes to the well-being of the country that you're speaking about? You chose to leave. Your stake is no longer in that country. It's in the country you're in. So what are you even talking about? You just like the sound of your own voice. If you're a diaspora person, like talking about fixing Iran, well, what are you going to go back there? No. It's ridiculous. And you're completely out of touch with all of their struggles, because all the Persians I know, for the most part, that live in the US, their dad's a dentist, a real estate guy, like a developer who makes a shit ton of money, or their dad's like that makes a lot of money in construction or whatever it is. They're very, very business minded. Okay. They have an incredible business acumen and they're very entrepreneurial, and they really get it done because they cannot be seen to be fucking up around the community. Like everyone wants to be like, no, I got the best purse or the best house or the whatever. So it is very much that. And they are smart. Okay. Like it's expected of them to become engineers or lawyers or doctors, but that's like the communities here, the ones that were lucky enough to get out of Iran, to escape the Islamic regime, so to speak, or the whatever it might be, the economic oppression you might have felt. Like you just want more opportunities. You want to be in America. But you have to at that point resign yourself to just being an American, which is great. That's the whole goal. You don't need to advocate for the people over there because they are the ones that will figure out what's best for them. You're not, of course, all the dentists here are just going to say, yeah, do whatever you need to do, but just make it to where I can go vacation there. It's like, well, maybe the West choosing the fate of every country over there is not really the best, especially because it's not really even the West choosing. They're being completely controlled, and we all know by whom. So, it's one country that's a rogue nation that wants complete control over an entire region and of the world, okay? And we are handing it to them on a silver platter. And it seems as though it will never stop, right? But I have to believe, like the optimistic side of me has to believe that at some point, I'm sorry it's such a serious episode. Usually it's a pretty light show. I was going to do Jasleen. Should we get into Jasleen next? And then maybe I upload that separately. I was going to talk about the Oscars. But this is the first year I didn't see any of the movies on the list. So it's like, why would I even? I was going to watch them with you guys and be like, I don't know what's even going on. So let's just do the Oscars. Like, let's watch the Oscars together on Patreon. But I might just watch the Jasleen interview on Patreon instead. It might just be a better idea. Or I'll just do it here and make it one long episode. I don't know. Yeah. It's just really unfortunate because this is just not at all what I wanted. And I do want Iran to have different leadership, but I do not want it to happen inorganically. For any sort of governmental change of that magnitude to be maintainable and lasting and effective, it needs to be supported internally and created internally. When you manipulate masses and masses of people because they're busy working their jobs and living their lives, that is not the best interest of the country. That's just mass manipulation. That's all it is. Propagandistic, fascistic. I mean, I don't even like to use that word because I don't even think anyone knows what it means anymore, but it's disgusting. It's disgusting. It's the opposite of what I wanted. I really only went to vote for Trump because I genuinely thought that if they preached this hard about how no war was like a priority, an absolute priority, then they have to obey that on some level. And even after the Fordo bombing, which made me hate him, right? That's when I knew he was wrong. The optimist in me thought like, okay, well, maybe that's it. Maybe that's all he's actually going to give them. And after this, it's done and no more. This is not what I thought was going to happen. I did not know it was going to escalate. And I don't know if Trump is dumb enough to think that he could have just ended this one very quickly as well, or if he actually knew this was going to be an extended war and that he's actually starting something that's going to last for years potentially. And we don't know how long, the damages could be. But it is a war on beauty, which is something Tucker said. There's also an account I like online called The War on Beauty. She talks a lot about the death of pretty things. And I really, Dostoevsky said that beauty will save the world. And I don't know that that's true. But I do know that we should preserve beauty. It is so much of what makes life worth living is these beautiful mountains and landscapes and unbelievable views. And Tucker had this incredible clip where he's like, you can say you hate Tucker or like Tucker, whatever. He's good on foreign policy. So just at least give me that. All right. He, at least these days, he historically has not been, but for the last several years, he has been. And whether you like him or not, whether you're a liberal or a conservative or a progressive or a leftist or a right, whatever, libertarian, whatever you are, you have to admit when it comes to foreign policy, the man has the right idea. And he said that when he was visiting Beirut in Lebanon, it was one of the most beautiful places he'd ever seen. He talked about how stunning Iran is, right? Because it's gorgeous. We have so many gorgeous landscapes and the weather's amazing. And then he said Israel's one of the ugliest places I've ever seen in my life. It's terrible. So it's like, if there were ever a place to destroy, it's like, please don't destroy the pretty places. If war was declared on the US, I'd be like, okay, hey, can you get out of California? There's already a war happening between the homeless people there and like the drug addicts and like, the street rats, like they're all fighting. Like we don't need more. And there's fires that happen. Like we don't need destruction on the most gorgeous landscape the US has to offer. And you might hate California, but you cannot deny it's the most beautiful place and the best climate that the US has to offer. And Florida can kick rocks. Thank you. It's like, just leave the pretty places alone and the pretty people. Like, don't kill the Lebanese girls. Like, don't kill the Persian girls, please. Thank you. Don't kill the people that were born looks-maxed with the tan olive complexion, okay? They didn't have to like manufacture a country of tan olive complexion. They just existed there. And it's just so sad, dude. I've cried so much about this. I've really cried so much. And I know you're going to be like, haha, like you did this to yourself. It's like, if you're saying that, it's like, dude, is your family getting blown up right now? No. And if you have people in the military, then yes, I sympathize totally if their lives are at risk also. But, you know, there's civilian buildings just being completely destroyed. And the fact that that little girl's school was hit with an American weapon, it just completely shifts. Like I was on such a patriotic, like, arc of my life. And I still love America and I'm still proud to be an American and I'm still so grateful to be here. My goodness. But like, it really taints it when it's just like, I thought we were going to stop with the war for a bit so I could start to love this again conceptually. And we can't. We're so controlled. We're so bitch made. We're so pussy-footed. Fuck it. Like we are not her, you know? We just are not her. Like she's just not the moment. Like the US is not it. Okay? Like in diva speak, it's just not it. And I really thought it was going to be great. Like I really thought this was going to be such a good era. And the way they can lie to you about like a golden age and it's going to be so awesome. It's going to be the roaring 20s again. And these stupid BAP people on X and Twitter that just like, you know, and I bought into it for a little bit. I was like, you know, that scene. And I have a lot of friends in that, you know, scene or whatever. And like, but I don't love, I didn't realize the whole BAP thing was just like a pro-Israel ploy. I have now known that for some time, but I didn't quite understand that it was just a pro-Israel outfit and cutout. And like everything else is basically just like sauce on the side to go along with that entree. Do you know what I mean? Like this whole, like all the stuff that they lure people in with, right? Like the cute outfits and the Brandy Melville. I mean, I'm wearing Brandy literally right now. There's just so many cultural elements to it that would lead you towards voting for Trump, right? If you're one of the independents and you're like a underground podcast listener and, you know, you're living in New York and you're chain smoking cigarettes and drinking Diet Coke and Red Bull and starving yourself and posting on Instagram that you're reading, you know, Ayn Rand. Whatever it is, those people are so susceptible to wars like this because they don't even know what they believe. They're like, well, Tommy Hilfiger outfits were cute and like maybe that was at like the height of the Vietnam War and like maybe like we could get back to that a little bit. They'll sit there and read about philosophy all day just because it's like an aesthetic to them, right? They just want to be like some version of an e-girl that, I don't know, some dumbass guy likes. And then they're going to find out that that doesn't satisfy them at all. But, and they think they're part of some sort of like, it's some sort of like new beatnik or whatever. It's this new coming about as like, I don't know how quite to describe it, but you know when you see those like BAP-esque accounts. And they're smart. You know, they use the big words. They put the big sentences together. You know, they try to sit there like they're writing some like it's all some New York Mag excerpt type style tweet. And you think like, you know, they're really jerking themselves off the whole time as they write it and post it. And they quibble all day, quote tweeting each other about whatever and the Fisher King and the this and the that. And I like a lot of their tweets and stuff. I think Fisher's against this actually. I don't know. See what I mean? Like these little stupid anonymous personalities that they're not even usually front facing. You don't say it's just so cowardly to not put your name behind your thought and your opinion, right? It's just, there's this persona behind it that nobody can detect or decipher on any level. So they can't ever really check you on anything you're doing because they don't know what your life is like. You're just some anonymous person spouting off whatever. And, you know, they want this like golden age resurgence of the architecture, all this bullshit, you know, and it's never actually anything real. It's just an aesthetic. Learning the big words and putting them together and reading the philosophy book. Like there is no larger worldview here. And if there is one, it's incoherent, you know, and they push this war. They know it's not good. They know that no one likes it, but they're going to push it anyway because they don't care. And it's hard because, you see these accounts and you're like, well, the Chris Rufos and the whatever. And you're like, who even are you? Oh, do you have the right idea? And why do people think you're smart? Like, am I smart for following you? And really, it's just like a bunch of people using big words and like trying to get us to go to war. And they maybe themselves didn't even know in the beginning that this is what they would be advocating for when they got like, what is it? I keep wanting to call it Slaughterhouse-5. It's the Sovereign House, whatever. I'm sure I'll go there at some point. But I would. But a lot of these people don't even know that they're just being like a pawn in another Israel outfit that like is, and we don't totally know what Teal's about. Like, I'm going to be honest, but it seems pretty clear now. It's just not getting any better. Let's see if there's any updates.
Other people from
I guess this is just the Iran episode. It just is what it is, And you can say egg on your face, bitch, but it's like, have a little class. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, my family's like, I don't know what's going on with them. Can you just shut up? Can you just shut your like, I told you so? You should have known. I know there were signs now. If you actually have constructive signs to tell me, be like, hey, actually, here's the timeline. I understand that Trump was saying all these things here, but this is what actually happened. Qasem Soleimani was executed at this point. Miriam Mendelsohn gave him this much money at this point. This person was chosen by this person at this, Vance was chosen basically by Teal at this point. His like hillbilly LG fake fucking book launch, fucking manufactured personality, fucking Nate changed his name as like ass fucking 55 times, has had 80 names. The fuck is up with that, JD Vance? Like all of that. Give me the timeline. If you want to tell me that I'm wrong, then tell me what I could have looked at, because that does exist. And I have been looking at that myself and being like, well, what signs did I miss? But don't just be like, your family might be dead. I'm a liberal and you should have known this. And it's like, don't be Reddit, be an adult, have some class. Obviously, I'm sorry. I've already apologized for voting for him. Literally, I should apologize to my family. And there's just a lot of people in the diaspora that feel like they're helping Iranians, because Iranians are legitimately suffering under this government. But that does not give us license to completely dictate their politics and kill them indiscriminately in one of the most populated cities in the world, in one of the most ancient countries in the world, historic sites. I mean, some of the oldest things that civilization has ever built is being bombed by Israel right now. What are they going to do Persepolis next? Because it's some symbolism that they're trying to evoke on the Friday the 13th at the Purim and it's like, just stop with the witchcraft, please. Human beings, be one. Watch them, try to act like it. And then they say Cuba's next, Turkey's next. It never ends. The US is next. They'll come for you too. That's the thing, is like, they'll come right here and take over this. They already have. They've infiltrated. So you have these dual loyalists everywhere. And it's totally allowed here. It's totally fine. We have the anti-BDS laws. It's like everything's in place to support this system. And it's self-perpetuating because all the people that live here and also are loyal to there, you can't say which is which and who is who and who cares about who more. And, is this a national interest? And are we really allies? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Everyone is struggling to buy a house right now or to buy groceries right now. Like, nobody can afford anything. People I know that make money don't even make that much money because it doesn't matter what the number says on there. It's not enough. No amount of money you're making these days is enough for anything. To live a halfway decent life right now, it's difficult to do that with less than $100,000, to be completely honest with you. If you have even a halfway decent standard of living as an expectation, you're doing six figures for like a single person, or like maybe not, but kind of, yeah. And you want to have a vacation sometimes. You want to go enjoy yourself at a restaurant occasionally. You want to take your kids to like an amusement park. Like, these things cost so much money now. Like, to take your kid to like Six Flags now, to Disney World, like, these things are not accessible anymore. It's incredible the way you're getting nickel and dimed and highway robberies being committed against you by every hotel you go to, every restaurant you go to. They're making you pay for the restaurants, healthcare, and like they don't pay their own staff anything, but their rent is so high. Like, what are they going to do? They're a business. They have to make a profit. Running a restaurant is so hard. Like, you have to charge $30 for a salad if you want any space on Sunset Boulevard, or even a restaurant like in the burbs. It's fucked up right now in America. And it's unsafe feeling out there in the streets. It doesn't feel good walking around Manhattan. I spent so much money to stay in Manhattan for 3 days, and I was scared to walk outside by myself for longer than like a few minutes during the day in certain neighborhoods. So what is the point? You see all these viral TikTok videos of like, look how amazing these people are living in Japan for no money. They're paying $500 rent for a studio that's kind of the size of a 1 or 2 bedroom, and it got complete security and all inclusive, like everything, like a literal high-rise apartment buildings that have fountains outside and full-time security and loaded up like cafes inside for nothing. For like $1,000 a month, you get to live like a king in one of these countries. And in the US, you are struggling beyond repair if that's the amount of money that you have for rent. It's hard out here for a pimp. Like, it is hard to be an American struggling and then also hear the news that actually you're the lucky one because you're the one that gets to live here. And you are on so many levels. Like, why can't we focus on fixing anything for them? Why is everything for this one little country? Nobody really knows the answer to that question. Like, no one really knows. Like, maybe some people do. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, but I know that like bombing 90 million people, some of whom I know, and many of whom are probably related to me by like, in the way that, not related to me, but you know what I mean? That's like my mom told me, she's like, I was like, our family. She's like, yeah, but the whole country is my family. Like, that's what she said to me. She feels she's absolutely beside herself over this. It's the worst thing she's seen. Like, we just want it to end. We just want it to end. But what's Iran to do? You can't be attacked like that and not fight back. You have to be defiant against something like that, or you embarrass yourself on the world stage and you make yourself a mark. And then your entire 90 million population becomes sitting ducks because they know that you're never going to fight back against anything. And what would possibly propel people to propel them to build a nuke even more is this. Getting indiscriminately bombed, having 165 kids just murdered in broad daylight, little girls, on some weird like Jewish holiday that celebrates like 75,000 Persians getting killed and slaughtered. It's fucking weird. Why are all the holidays like this, shit about like violence? I don't know. Like, it's just really, it sucks. It just sucks that this is happening. And why can't we just stop bombing each other? I know I sound like a pretty elementary IQ idiot right now, but it just doesn't seem to be in anyone's interest except one little country. And I just don't even think it's in their interest in the long term because they're about to be fucking, the world's had enough of them, It's like, how do you fight back against this? It's just, there's nothing you can really do. I just try to ignore it. I try to focus on my day to day and I try to tell my mom to do the same thing. And, I have to fly back to Dallas tomorrow because she's getting surgery. So I want to be there for the operation and make sure everything goes really smoothly. And, it's just knocking on wood that this is, that it does and that this war ends and that things start to settle down. But I guess let's just see what the latest is.
Some of them are.
You've said you have someone in mind to be the new Iranian leadership, if not the Ayatollah's son. What are you looking for in that person? Are you looking at someone internal, given that you just said that their leadership has been decided?
I like the idea of internal and eternal, come to think of it. But I like the idea of internal because
the idea
works well. I think we've proven that so far. in Venezuela. We have a woman.
Yeah, he just really
Nelson,
was
who has been
high on his own
president
supply
of the
after the
country, very
Venezuela thing. He
respected,
just
very
never is held
doing a
accountable.
great job.
This is what
And
happens
it's,
when you don't
no
hold people
disruption.
accountable.
We had, as you remember, Iraq, where everybody got fired. The military got
Oh,
fired.
sorry, you
the
guys
police got
can't even see
fired,
it.
the politicians got fired. There was nobody. And you know what they turned into? ISIS. And we don't want that. We don't want that. So
Any
I would
like
like to see
takeaways? I
people
don't
that are
really want to like
inside
listen
go.
to
Now they talk
babble
about
on and on and
the son
on.
of
I was gonna like. I used to love watching him babble because I thought he was so funny. Now I just think he's like the devil. So. It's like, yeah, I mean, let's watch that BB interview actually, or the BB video, Netanyahu. Oh, Netanyahu makes surprise cafe visit amid false death rumors. Is this the video that they say is AI?
מה שאלת אותי?
ראש הממשלה אומרים ברשת שאתה בכלל מת?
אני מת על קפה, אתה יודע מה? אני מת על העם שלי. איך הם מתנהגים, פנטסטי. אתה רוצה לספור את מספר אצבעות?
They said he had 6 fingers. I see 5.
אתה יכול להראות לנו?
פה.
I'm looking for that 6th finger. Which subscriber of mine said that? One of you guys told me that it looked like he had it. I don't know if this is it because this was released 5 hours ago. So maybe there was a different video they initially released after the death rumors surfaced. Breaking. Netanyahu mocks AI generated video, posts video of himself. Okay, let's just see if that's because this must have just happened. I mean, this is 9 hours ago though, so I don't know. I think this is
the latest from Israel, where Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has released a video mocking the rumors of his death. As you can see, the visuals on your screens show Netanyahu holding both hands.
Oh, so there's a different video then.
Fingers.
Damn.
After rumors started circulating that his televised Thursday press conference was an AI-generated version of him. Netanyahu was last seen in public when he met with local council heads and visited the National Health Command Center on March 10th. While on March 3rd, he had attended a service at a local synagogue. The development comes in the backdrop of the latest threats by Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps that have vowed to continue pursuing the Israeli Prime Minister, saying that Netanyahu would remain a target as long as he lives.
All right. So I guess he's alive. I didn't even see the first video. What's the first video? Oh, this is the one?
Social media. Several other case of wartime misinformation.
Okay. All right. Well, that sucks. Okay, so that blows. Whatever. It is what it is. What can you do? Hey. You can't win them all. What else is I going to say about this? Yeah, I mean, obviously people are wondering if this is an Epstein Files thing because Trump is so clearly guilty of something in the Epstein Files. We don't know how bad it is. We don't know how far spread like the black male victims are of that whole horrible stain on this country. Like we don't know really. I wish I knew how they got him to do this or if it was just easy and expected of him and he had to. I don't know. I really am that stupid though. I really didn't see it coming and I am just a girl and I am sorry. And obviously I'm not just a girl and I have responsibility to like look at these things, but I really did believe in my heart of hearts that this was the last thing that was going to happen. So it's just so disappointing. Who won the Oscar stuff? Let's just take our mind off this for a second. And then we're going to get into Jasleen Singh. Okay. I don't know if I should just make that a whole nother episode. I feel like I should because I've done like an hour 10 on Iran now. But I really can't implore people enough. Like if you understand the timeline of 1953, Mohammad Mossadegh, the elected leader of Iran being overthrown. And then in 1980, the Shah, who was largely a Western puppet anyways, but that kept the country under like some stable status for a long time, especially his father, who like helped build a lot of the infrastructure in Iran, Reza Shah, who then eventually was kicked out anyway. They brought his son in, the Shah, who we now know as the Shah, who was exiled later, had cancer and died. And he was then overthrown by Khomeini, not Khamenei, like the one but they have similar names. Khomeini. So if you understand the way that happened, the way the masses of the Iranians, especially the urban ones, were completely manipulated to bringing in this new leader and completely lied to, right? You understand how the same thing is going to happen again. You cannot have the Shah's son, who has never really lived in Iran for any substantial period of time or in any time recently, have him go run a country that he knows nothing about because he's just a rich guy in LA with like the Iranian Secret Service or whatever in Beverly Hills. What the fuck does he know about Iran? You think he's going to be the leader that they all get behind? People need to get behind a leader. If you don't have a leader of a movement, like good luck getting anything done. It's just going to be complete chaos, stable Arab Spring style, like mass chaos. And with 90 million people, you really want to do that? I mean, the real people that are like pro-Islamic regime are the rural areas, and they're not even getting bombed. So you know they're not really trying to save Iran. If you actually believe that, if you think this is a movement to free Iran, like so many of the idiot kids of diaspora people I know, or actual diaspora people themselves, like you think Iran's going to be freed for this? This is the last thing that's going to free Iran. They're going to get bombed to bits, and their oil's going to be stolen, and their land and history will be destroyed. And the U.S. will be destroyed in the process. That's the thing that people really aren't understanding. Like, the U.S. cannot afford this war. We can't afford to have deaths from this war. And we cannot afford to have another world war. And just because the world war doesn't look the same as it did in World War I or World War II doesn't mean that it's not that. It definitely is that. And the way, I think I read some statistic, like the amount of bombing they're doing every single day could basically give everyone free college for like 5 years in the US from the bombing they do in a single day. If that's true, and even if it's not true, but if that's true, it's just so embarrassing, you know? It really is. It's so embarrassing because this could have really just been the greatest country in the world. And it really was for a long time, I think, the US. But how do you come back from this? I don't know. I don't know how you come back from this. I don't know how you stop this war now that you've escalated it. Because Iran cannot, I'm sure they want to stop, but they also just got their supreme leader killed. The guy who's now running it, who they didn't want him to be there, but there was a lot of pressure to get that guy chosen. We haven't heard from him because he might be severely injured, but we don't even know. His dad, his wife, his kid died. And now he's the leader, and you guys expect him to be like rational at this point? I mean, he probably is going to be rational, but it's because they're fighting for their existence at this point, but they cannot be seen to be weak and do nothing and capitulate to whatever the U.S. is saying now. Like, oh, now why should we believe anything they say during the negotiations when they kill all the negotiators and the next people in line? They just want chaos. They don't care what happens. They know that the Shah's son can't be put in as the elected leader. So that's a fake thing. And he's so stupid and retarded. He's just sitting there with a gun to his head, like ready, like doing an ISIS video every 5 seconds. And then they're putting the camera on him. He's like, hello, my fellow Iranians. I would love to come and be your leader. And I haven't lived there in a while, but I'll figure it out. And all the like dentists and the lawyers and the whatever living in like, I don't know, Coral Gables or fucking San Diego and their whatever huge house in LA. They're like, yes, that's great. Oh my God. Like, yes, for Iran, the lion flag, bring back the flag with the lion. I love that flag too. It's pretty. It's the original Iranian flag, but that's not what that represents these days. Is installing the Shah, which we know isn't going to happen. They know it's not going to happen. The West knows it's not going to happen either. They're just pretending that that's a viable leader when it would never in a million years work, when the real plan is to create mass upheaval, chaos, and complete instability in a country of 90 million people. And if they can meet that end, then the greatest power in the world will be starting with an I. And it's this tiny little baby country that really does nothing, has no real exports, has no real like industries beyond like weird cyber tech where they just spy on everyone. And I think they do like, I don't even know. I know they're not really contributing much to the world. And this is about all they can do. It's just create chaos everywhere and ruin everything. Ruin everything pretty. Everything that's pretty, all the pretty people have to go according to them, and all the pretty places, all the landscapes that are, gorgeous and absolutely stunning and healing for people's souls, to look at mountains when nothing in their life is going right. It's like you're going to take that away from them and bomb all the mountains and bomb. It's a fortress. I mean, Iran is a fortress. It's a mountainous fortress, and you cannot do a complete ground invasion of a place and trap the U.S. military. I mean, if you watch the Professor Zhang stuff, which I like him a lot. He's a little conspiratorial, but I'm largely like him. But you listen to his, like, him explain and break down the military strategy, and some other people that have, understanding of how wars work and how they're all different based on the terrain and the landscape and the population and obviously the leadership and all of that. But it's going to be very difficult to invade a country of 90 million people that's basically a fortress where they can have underground bunkers and hidden this and hidden that everywhere, and you don't know what you're walking into, and they have the home court advantage there. And you just want to drag the U.S. into another war, potentially draft U.S. citizens for what? To free another country, to do more like Bill Kristol fake, like fix the world type shit that just drags everyone into fucking chaos. Let's please just focus on like making it to where like we can buy a house. If we could just accomplish that one thing. I mean, I just don't know that ever really happens in this way. I guess I should tease the Jasleen thing. Oh, and they say like Yair Netanyahu hasn't posted anything, but I guess if that's the son who lives in Miami, the son of the PM of Israel. So I was gonna watch some of the Oscars trailers, like for the movies, but I also just don't really care. So I didn't see any of them. It's just so washed. I mean, the industry at this point, because it's like you can't get. I saw Susan Sarandon do a video about like how outspoken she's been about all these things that she feels very passionately about, and God bless her, she's a beautiful soul. She, has basically been completely blackballed. Like she blacklisted from doing any movies. She says she can only book movies in Italy now, so she's doing Italian films, because Americans like don't want her in the movies unless it's like an independent movie that no one sees and has no funding. So that's really the price you pay. Luckily, I don't think Mark Ruffalo's totally out of the game, but like they might be coming for him next. It's hard for anybody. And it's obviously getting better, but when you buy TikTok and when you buy CBS and you already own, everything, and the Murdochs are on your side, like really, what chance does the rest of the world have? It's going to take a great miracle and a great spirit of the Western frontier to go against this infiltration and go against this absolute monstrous force that is controlling the US and basically dragging the entire world into a world war. And we don't even know if nuclear weapons are going to be used. We don't know if there's hope, if there's nothing that's going to happen further, if everything's going to get worse, which seems to be the case. Like, we just don't know. We don't know who's running the show, really. And I guess we'll never know. Or hopefully we will. I don't want to say that. But yeah, it's real hard. I don't know. I don't really know. I just want peace, however that comes. And I think that Iranians they were so close to having an internal, organic, real revolution, or at least maybe not a revolution, but a huge and monumental step towards that, which is to have these huge wins from like the 2022 Masa Amini thing, these big protests that are like, she really was killed and it really was a horrible murder. And there really were inroads and progress made after the protests where people got really upset about it and fought back and were defiant. And they had to capitulate and compromise a bit and meet the people's desires. And if you're, walking around Tehran now and you don't want to have your hijab on, you don't have to anymore. And it's kind of like the 70s again in some ways. Not really, obviously. The economic sanctions have completely crippled the people that live there. And when I tell you, like, my family tells me how horrible it is, it's one of the worst things you can do to a country is basically make it to where they can't afford anything. Their money has no value and they have nothing. It's complete precarity in your life all the time. And that has to be the norm. It's insane. It's a horrible thing to do to a country. So they're already suffering with that, right? But that's because the US and the West have put sanctions under them. And there is tons of corruption within their own system, 100%. But it is the outside forces that propel all of these horrible, disastrous things that take place, like the sanctions, like the war, right? Like the water crisis. These things could all be quelled by the West, but instead everything is made worse by them. And at the same time, I culturally love the Western world. I love, like English literature, and I love the Western culture that I live in and I'm a part of. And I don't know like how these two conflicting sides of me really come together to be one person, but here I am. And I just don't know. Like, I wish it just had more articulate and substantive maybe thoughts about this that sounded better to listen to, but it is just kind of surreal to like look at the news and see like, okay, this is like kind of what I feared my whole life, and it's happening like in front of me, and I was a part of it, and I really thought I was doing the opposite. And yes, I was lied to, but I should have known better, and it's my fault, but also I couldn't have changed it. And also this is what was going to happen maybe with any president, because this is just the direction we've been heading in for so long. But what is the solution? What can we do now? What is there to do? The Thomas Massey has been incredible. Like, I really would love for him to be president. I don't know at this point. I just don't even know where we go from here. But I know it's not looking great right now. But I have to believe that there's some sort of, light at the end of the tunnel, I hope, or a way that we get out of this, and the less casualties, the better. So, I don't know. What else is there to really say on it? I guess we could just watch a little bit of the news and see what's coming out. Yeah, but all the Iranian diaspora that you see propped up on Fox News being like, no, this is great, or propped up on even MSNBC or any, because it's all the same, right? The neocons and the neolibs, like they really get along well when it comes to stuff like this. Like they're all behind the war. Even if the libs are a little bit more tacit about it, or tacit seeming, they do ultimately at the end of the day vote yes and send the weapons and yes, bomb them and whatever, give me money for my campaign in exchange. And it's not real, right? Like they're very corrupted. So they might even speak out against it, the Democrats, and then vote in favor of it. So this is just something you as the citizen have to like, and I'm not telling you because if you're my audience, like whatever small little sliver of the population is watching this, like, but if you came here from like the Jaslene episode and you're new, like definitely just please don't listen to any of them. Although those people are probably gone because I didn't post anything right after that video. So Iranian cluster bomb explodes in Tel Aviv. Say more.
This morning in the Middle East and Operation
Epic Fury.
The sirens sounding in Israel earlier this
is Fox News. What did they say?
Retaliatory strikes after one of their key oil sites were hit.
Chief Foreign Correspondent Trey Yingst joins us now from Tel Aviv with the latest.
There's Trey Yingst.
On the ground, Trey.
Breaking Points has been amazing about this, obviously, but I'm sure you guys probably watched them already.
We do have some new video to show you of an impact this morning in central Israel. This video shows a cluster impact in Tel Aviv.
They say it's the safest place for Jews to live, but something tells me that's just not true.
By the Israeli police. This explosion
that doesn't look really safe to me.
In this particular impact, but there are reports
looks pretty bad.
On the outskirts of Tel Aviv after an apartment was hit by one of these cluster munitions. Overnight, missile interceptors soared through the skies of central Israel, shooting down some of this incoming fire. It's been a difficult evening for the Israeli people who spent much of their time in bomb shelters amid these new incoming Iranian attacks. A deputy police spokesperson
I guess that's what happens when you attack, 15 countries in like a week.
As a result of the missile impact, it caused fire on several vehicles and damages to several buildings. Together with the forces of the Homefront Command, the MDA service, and the security forces at this stage, we found that 3 people were lightly wounded. At the moment,
it's like they always suffer no casualties. It's like 3 people. Oh my god, dude, get bent. It's never any number.
As the Israelis are launching new strikes against the Iranian regime, you can see this video from Friday. They are hammering the Islamic Republic.
Like October 7th is like, what was it? Like 1,000, 2,000? That happens like every day all over the place and nothing happens because of it. That happens in Israel once and it's like the whole world has to go on to get lit on fire.
Threats about this critical thoroughfare.
The Strait of Hormuz
It's not bad. Can't be open.
A single American Navy vessel will be allowed to enter the Persian Gulf. The presence of America in the Persian Gulf has been the main cause.
It's my uncle. I'm
of
just kidding. It's not.
It is not
Could be though. Looks like one of them.
in the region without America's exit from
Definitely a Persian guy.
The Iranians are talking
I love Iranians. I really do love my culture and my people.
this video from Friday showing Karg Island where up
I love America too. That's why this is just like the worst, dude.
Significant strikes there. President Trump telling media over the weekend, we totally demolished Karg Island, but we may hit it a few more times just for fun. We've totally decimated it. We do expect a ramp up in U.S. and Israeli strikes in the hours and days ahead. We've seen many of the refueler planes overhead as they are making sure these jets have the
What are the
ability to
comments?
strike targets deep inside of Iran. Guys?
All right, Trey Yanks, live for us in Tel Aviv.
Even the Fox News comments are actually kind of wild. The top comment on this video, this was posted 11 hours ago. It's got 600,000 views. Okay, my screen just went totally blank. What the hell? I love how, yeah, because they were all smiley in the beginning. Look at them. They're just so happy. The top comment on this video says, it's so bizarre. The top comment on the Fox News video doing this reporting is saying, it's so bizarre when a team of reporters are sitting in a studio, all smiles and laughs, talking about a war and bombs going off. Something so sick and twisted about this. Yeah. If you attack a country, expect them to attack you back. Oh no, Iran is, these all have like thousands of upvotes or likes on the comments on YouTube. It says, oh no, Iran responded to being bombed. Who would have guessed? Doesn't sound like the missile attacks are slowing down. Can't start a fight without someone punching back. People saying, don't forget the Epstein files. I mean, they are cooked, dude. It's the Fox News comments are saying this. What? Dude, the Fox News comments is crazy. Those cluster packages were promised to Israel 3,000 years ago is now being delivered to them on a high-res continuous mod. Imagine if Iran used the double tap tactic. No one ever mentions that we are bankrupt. Okay, there are small little wins. When the comment section of Fox News is like sitting here like roasting the actual like host for laughing, and Operation APAC Fury, holy shit. Bombing for fun? Those bombs aren't free. Meantime, the U.S. can't even afford to pay debt. I have not seen a single top comment in support of this. Maybe like the newest is sometimes how you get like a better idea. Boom, 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 Tel Aviv. This is what you get for all your evil deeds. These are like people are writing poems in the Fox News section. You guys, this is kind of glorious and beautiful. I don't know what to say. I didn't expect this. This isn't even a bunch of Groyper accounts. Like, I don't even know how these people are so against this. I'm so happy to see this. I hope that the people commenting on this video reflects a large percentage of the population's views, because this is what I like to see. It says another one. I thought we won, ? The new drone bottles will be very deadly if armed with a cluster bomb. Oh no, they fired back. Who could have seen this coming? People are saying like, this is kind of incredible. Let's look at the newest comments. So it doesn't seem Iran increases to level 2, stack their attacks. Israel will go to plan B. Okay, there are people in support. Some of the newest ones are definitely in support. Okay, but actually there's people shitting on them too. There's people saying go Iran actually in the newest comments. With the exception of John Fetterman, it seems like the Democrats are on the side of the mullahs. Operation Epstein Fury. The mullahs will be forced to eat every word. Yeah, okay, there's people that are still for this. Then some people say Israelis killed Jesus. Well, Israel wasn't. And then people are, this is more in support of Iran actually that I'm seeing even in the newest comments. This is I don't know, this is obviously not some litmus test, but like to me it's interesting. I would say epic failure. Good one, dude. I like very good. I do like that. This is checkmate for the Iranian regime. Yes, says who? We don't see what the right reason why we should talk with the Americans. Yeah, I mean, and that's a perfectly measured and actually quite tolerant response considering the circumstances, which kind of almost puts to the table like maybe we would talk to them. Iranians are alive. Like if by the way, if their real aim here with Operation Epic Fury and Operation Midnight Hammer was to free the Iranian people, right? What you've accomplished with this is making this regime so much stronger than it ever was. The people are rallying around their flag. People that did not support the Islamic Republic now do, because they're seeing their kids' schools get bombed and they're like, oh, actually the US isn't trying to free us. They're bombing Tehran. We didn't think that's how this would go. So even the people that were anti-regime, which is a lot of people in Tehran, right? They are now pro-regime because they don't want their homes to get bombed by Israel and America. So all you have accomplished here is strengthening the regime in the Iranian people's eyes, people that are pro and against regime, right? They are going to be behind them for right now. This is a war front now, right? You got to get behind the wartime president. So you did the opposite of that. And it's not as if they didn't know that that would happen, because the whole goal is just to destabilize and strengthen Israel. It's not to actually achieve the aims that they come out on the world stage and say they're trying to achieve, that they prop up Carolyn Levitt's fucking fat ass onto the stage. It's like, no matter how thin she is, she's a fat ass bitch. She's coming out being like, it's like youngest press secretary ever. It's like, great, congratulations. You're the youngest retard of all time. She's also married to like her grandpa. It's disgusting. What a fucking disgusting bitch. I mean, truly just a disgusting, disgusting woman. She looks also, it's like, you know, now not to bring the Irish down anymore. I know St. Patrick's Day is a bit of an embarrassing day for them in Boston. At least they're like being treated like children that can't go out past a certain curfew. But Carolyn Levitt is like, she is aging. Like they say she's 27. I don't know though. Cause I look at it and I'm like, I'm not trying to like shit on a woman's looks and like disparage her, but my goodness, is she propagating the worst possible war of all time, defending this man's every move? And that's her job. She has to. That is what the White House press secretary is supposed to do. They are literally a paid mouthpiece for the president. That is the job. So, you know, but she's still the one doing it. So I can still call her ugly and fat and, you know, married to a creep and likes it. So anyways, and has 2 kids with him, or is about to have another one. Is she industrious? Does she get it done? Is her life probably really scheduled and orderly, and she work really hard? Yes. Does she even have a soul? No. So, okay, I've done 134. I don't really know what else there is to say. Let me just like look at like what the live news are. I think though I've pretty much done it. Is there any updates though? Iran, Israel war news live. Let's look at X before we get out of here. See if there's anything new. Girl brain failure. Yeah, pretty much. BB's trending. I also hate that Mamdani apologized yesterday. That was so bitch made. Threw his wife under the bus for some shit. I hated that. Stand up for your wife, dude. It's like, what are you doing? That was so bitch made. I hated that. What an L. Capital L, capitulating to those freaks. But Iran Israel war live. I can't even believe I'm seeing this. Like, I knew this was coming, but I just thought like we would avoid this. Trump warns Iran over the Strait of Hormuz. You don't get to control that area now. Like, it's just.
But having said that, there are also criticism for the U.S. Trump administration that they have gone this war to fulfill the objectives of Israel and.
This is India though. They're like super pro-Israel, right? Aren't they like super big allies? Like. ABC, give me some basic bitches.
So you're aware of a tape.
Okay, so you guys just can't give me live coverage of anything? Is that just like, am I reaching for the stars here? Yeah, apparently I am. Okay. Well, I guess that's the latest. We don't know what's going to happen. I think I just dropped something. Okay. I really, really, really hope that the best possible outcome prevails and the least possible bloodshed we can get is what happens. And I don't know. I don't know what else to say. I feel horrible. I'm going to make a very valiant effort to really educate myself next time. decide. Actually, there's no next time. I don't think I'm going to be voting ever again, and I don't care anymore. Ever again. Bye. Bye. Everyone's a liar and a fraud. There's no point in believing them ever. But I have to be hopeful. I have to be hopeful because the world keeps spinning. We keep going. We keep doing it. And, you got to fight back against dark forces in the world. I don't know what else there is to say, folks. Okay, I'm going to go to the Patreon. And we are going to go do some fun stuff, some light stuff, which is what the show is actually about. The essence of this show thematically is supposed to be a good time. We're supposed to like not take things seriously. It just so happens like, this is happening right now. Obviously I regret ever even speaking anything, even saying Trump is like funny and entertaining. Like none of this is entertaining. It's horrible all around. There is really no way for me to laugh about it or like make jokes about it or like because it's like my family might not be. I wish I could, but I just don't see anything funny really. Like if I see something funny that'll make me laugh, great. But so far it's just bad news, and I hope it ends. But please come to the Patreon. We will talk Jocelyn saying, or we will do the Oscars rewatch, or we'll just chill and have fun. But it's gonna be much more light and easy than this. So thank you for watching. Please subscribe, like, put your notifications on for when I go live, because I do go live periodically and I'm going to keep doing that. So, all right. See you on the Patreon, and good night and good luck.